Friday Eve, Thursday, that is, at 6:06 on the 26th of February of 2026. So it's 02262026.
Mm, that's a lot of twos and a lot of sixes.
If you like numbers,
Mm-hmm.
that's a weird one for
Or
you.
you could do
There you
2,
go.
26, 26.
You could do that. You
Yeah.
could do that. Or if you're
Right.
European, it would be 2602
Yeah, that's so.
2026.
Why do they do that? That's so screwy.
They
Come on, do it right.
they were here first.
So they claim.
Maybe we're the ones who were making the mess of it.
I don't think
know.
so.
Okay.
And we're the ones that talk right, too.
Oh,
They
yeah.
drive on
that's
the wrong side of
Yeah.
the road, too.
Yeah, they're on the
Exact.
wrong
What is
side.
wrong with
See,
those
everything's all
people
screwy with them.
over there? They're on the wrong side of the ocean, too.
Yep.
So silly.
Let them stay there.
ProLift Garage Doors bringing you portions of today's show. You have a garage door problem. These are the guys you can count on to help get that sucker opening and closing the way it's supposed to. They got all the parts on the truck for a basic job. If that's what you're looking for, you can call them up, get some emergency service if needed, or just say, look, fit me in the schedule whenever you can. They'll make an appointment, come on out, and get you taken care of. The pros at ProLift always going to be wearing a ProLift uniform, always going to be driving a ProLift truck. You don't have to worry about, getting some run-of-the-mill guy in his own van trying to, and if that guy shows up, he's not with ProLift, just so you know. They have had a little bit of a problem with that. ProLift Garage Doors, 286-9727. When your garage door lets you down, ProLift will give you an uplifting experience. ProLiftDoors.com, ProLift Garage Doors. House Republicans are actually going to Hillary Clinton's compound for a closed-door Epstein testimony affair. They're going to see her. Now, why don't they bring her?
She should be coming to see them.
One would think,
Yeah,
but they're actually going to the Clinton compound, which is still in New York, isn't it?
I think so.
As far as I
think
know,
that's
yeah.
where they're at.
Yeah, so they're actually going to be, I guess, flying up there or caravanning or whatever. I mean, there's still snow problems and whatever. And they're going to go sit down and do some closed-door testimony. What exactly they expect to get out of her, I do not know. I think more information would be forthcoming from Bill, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But, I don't know anything about what's going on with this. Leland was talking yesterday about Epstein having a whole bunch of stuff in storage lockers on the West Coast and some of the East Coast. And apparently some of the stuff was rather questionable.
Very questionable.
I don't know anything. How did this story fly under my radar? I missed this completely.
I don't know. This whole Epstein thing to me has just been weird from the get-go. Like, we're going to get all these files, we're going to release them. Then when there was all this delay, and then when it came out, then all this redaction. I mean, and now this. We've got files that were in hidden places, apparently.
Well, they say there's photos and videotapes. And I'm like, well, let's get some of those. Let's get to watch it. Not me personally. I don't want to see any of that nonsense. But let's get to watch it and see who's in these things. Because the one thing that we do know is that apparently he was blackmailing a lot of people. Bill Clinton may have been one of them, for all we know. But there were apparently Hollywood stars that were being blackmailed. There were politicians that were being blackmailed, captains of industry like Bill Gates that were being blackmailed. All of these things are, and they're just burying it because the powerful continue to protect each other.
Yeah, and obviously they want to talk to Hillary Clinton about what she knows about Bill.
Yeah.
Because Hillary wasn't the one probably being flown to the islands and taking these plane trips like Bill was doing. I think that was done separately. So they're probably just asking her, what do you know about your husband going on these different trips with Epstein? So
I don't recall.
that's exactly right.
You're going to
She's
get a
standing
lot
by
of,
her man is what she's going to do, more of that.
Don't recall. Well, because, she's in it up to her eyebrows, too.
Yeah. There's no sense in, throwing him under the bus. It's like, well, I don't recall. I don't recall. That's what you're going to get.
I would have sworn that there was not a more corrupt family than the Clinton family until I met the Biden family.
Oof.
Then I realized, these guys
that's on steroids.
are right.
That's the Clinton family on steroids.
Clinton family is JV compared to the Biden family when it comes to collecting money from outside sources that, peddling influence, whether it was real or imagined, and the different ways they were doing it, and 22 shell companies, and still nobody looking into that. Still, now that they're out of office, it's kind of like, never mind. That's over. We're just going to move on. It would be nice to get to the bottom of some of that, wouldn't it?
It would be, and know the truth about it. I mean, we all have a pretty good idea about what's going on, but to know that, no one's going to be held accountable just is, again, head shaking to all of us.
Who agreed to what, with whom, for how much money, And how did that all change hands? What was the mechanism for that? I want to know that. I want to know I want to know about the Epstein situation. I want to know about the islands. I want to know about these storehouses. I want to know who was going and doing, because it still is. The average American may not be able to understand a lot, but they can understand that if Ghislaine Maxwell is in prison for trafficking, sex trafficking minors, she had to be trafficking them to somebody. And how we do not know who those somebodies are is one of the biggest mysteries of the 2020s.
Well, I think Prince Andrew and probably Bill Clinton are two of the tops on that list.
Yes.
And they need to get to the bottom
But
of
the
this.
key words there are, I think.
Yeah.
We don't have any real evidence pointing to any of these people. It's somewhere. Somebody must have some, and nobody wants to talk. And of course not, because they're all protecting each other. That's the way it works.
Yeah, and I think what happens is you're going to have a domino effect. If you have Prince Andrew and you have Bill Clinton, more dominoes will fall, and maybe that's where the problem lies. Is one of them gets nailed, and they'll be like, oh well, let me tell you who else was on that plane headed to the island, and then there's going to be a lot more names that maybe we haven't even heard yet.
Mm-hmm.
It's the tip of the iceberg with Prince Andrew and Bill Clinton.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. I don't know. I don't think they're going to get much from Hillary Clinton, though.
No, I don't think
She's
so.
She's not going to be much help.
She's cagey, and she's...
Has she ever been a help?
No.
I mean, you think about this. She did 11 hours of a Benghazi testimony and gave up absolutely nothing. And then later, we have found out, we actually caught the guy responsible for, making the whole thing happen. He's now in custody. She was going to continue to try to sell this YouTube nonsense. that was her, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Well, you go ahead and stick to it, Hillary. It's working pretty well for you.
Well, it's closed-door testimony, but usually something leaks out, You'll get a little something from somebody, although Adam Schiff's not involved, so maybe not.
Yeah, probably not. You're
know.
right. So glad he wasn't at the speech the other night.
Iran is vowing to target U.S. troops after Donald Trump has basically threatened a repeat of the bunker buster strike. He's basically said, you remember what we did before? Yeah, we're thinking about we're going to do it again. We're going to do it bigger. It's going to be better. It's going to be more impressive.
Listen, Iran, Iran needs to pay attention. Do you know what's right off the coast, Iran? Are you paying any attention to what's out there?
You know what Iran is good at is shooting unarmed citizens, their own citizens. They've got that down. They're able to do that. But when it comes to actually going up against people who are fighters, who know what they're doing, who have got world-class weaponry, Iran doesn't stand a chance. And, could we end up losing a couple of guys? Yeah. Could we end up having some injured? Yeah, it's possible. But there does come a time where you just have to go, enough is enough. We've reached our limit with you. It's time for you to pay the piper and simmer down. And quite frankly, I'm not even sure bombing them again is going to shut them up. They're the kind of people who are just going to keep yeah about this, acting like, they're tough and waving a club around when, in fact, they have no cards.
And here's the other thing. You take out this regime, what's right behind it? Something probably very similar to it.
If you can't replace these guys, and a huge number of people in Iran are not actually devout Muslims and would prefer not to have a Muslim-based government. So if you could feasibly replace that theocracy with something that's a little closer to a Western-style constitutional republic, then a lot of these problems would go away. But
I don't know that we'll see that in our lifetime, Richard. I'm a little doubtful.
We've lost our taste for regime change, for sure.
I guess so.
We've just really kind of thrown up our hands and said, we tried this in Iraq, we tried this in Afghanistan. We don't really want to do this anymore. This is not our cup of tea. But if we can keep them from getting nuclear weapons, that would be considered a major success.
I did find it interesting, though, you said they're sitting there waving their club around. It'd be very much Iran to bring a club to a missile fight.
Yeah, especially if we take their missiles out, then that's all they're going to have.
That's about right.
The Birmingham RV Show is back at the BJCC. It starts tomorrow, February 27th, 28th, and March the 1st. You can get the RV of your dreams for less at this event. It is going to be huge. It always is. They've got RVs from all kinds of dealerships from all over the area, going as far away as Anniston. You will find some fantastic pull-behinds, some great travel trailers, some fifth wheels. Yes, they've got the RVs of all different sizes and shapes and different pricing as well. You'd be impressed by how little you can buy one of these fabulous, well, we'll just call it an RV, but, it's the fact is, are you are you dancing, tap dancing over there? What is going on? We have a
I'm killing the bug.
little bug problem.
He's dead.
Okay.
Score.
Good
Thank
job.
you. Took care of that. Sorry to disrupt everyone.
Factory rebates, financing, and on-the-spot loan approval happening. Plus, Spider-Man's going to be there Saturday and Sunday. I'll be there Friday.
That wasn't the bug she killed.
No,
Oh,
she did
no.
not. I hope she didn't kill
Ooh.
Spider-Man. If so, we're all in trouble. Broadcasting live tomorrow from 2 to 6. I'll see you out there. You can find out more at rvsupershows.com, rvsupershows.com. The RV Super Show. It is back at the BJCC Exhibition Hall tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday. It only comes around once a year, so take advantage of it.
Boo, boo. Mm-hmm.
620 Dixon Divining, Talk 99.5. Talk995.com. Got ourselves a really wet one today. It is going to be raining now and then later, and then again, even later still, and then some more tonight.
All the way till about 6, 7 o'clock, maybe a little bit later.
If you look at the satellite imagery, what you see is a bunch of clouds that are coming through and passing and coming and going and whatever. that period where the big rainy clouds are gone doesn't necessarily mean that it's not raining. It just means that the heavy stuff is out of the area. So we can have light rain, we can have mist, we can have drizzle, and then we can actually have some fairly severe storms. Not like super dangerous. You're not going to probably end up with telephone poles down or anything like that. Just they do say high wind is a possibility and some thunder and lightning, and it's going to be very, very frightening.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes when that happens, you have trees come down and things like that. But
it can happen.
It's not, it's not a severe weather day. It's just we're going to have a lot of rain, and we'll deal with it. 80% chance.
We're not talking Twister here.
No,
I think is
nothing
what
like
we're trying
that.
to say.
Yeah, nothing like that.
Okay. That having been said, let's dive in and do this, shall we?
And now, it's Dixon and Vining's top 3 things you need to know.
The Alabama House of Representatives passed legislation yesterday making the disruption of a worship service in Alabama a Class C felony. Excuse me, it was Tuesday they did that. According to HB 363, if an individual knowingly enters a church building or church property with the intent to disrupt a worship service, law enforcement can arrest and charge the individual for the act. Disruption is defined by the legislation as rioting, engaging in disorderly conduct, harassing any individual participant, and or obstructing the ingress or egress to a church building or its property. This, of course, is an offshoot of what took place up in Minnesota when you had Don Lemon and company go in and start harassing church members for no good reason whatsoever except that they believed that the pastor of that church was involved in ICE.
Yeah, we haven't seen something like that in quite a while, and I guess it opened up a lot of eyes. We don't necessarily have that problem here in the state of Alabama, but this helps to ensure that if somebody decides to do this, they'll be charged with a Class C felony. Of course, this has to go through the Senate first. It was the House that passed it.
Right.
So hopefully, I don't think it's going to have a lot of trouble there. But certainly you have some on the left that are already asking, well, how is this going to be implemented? What does that mean when we get into church and, somebody decides that they want to speak up against the pastor? Is that considered? And I'm like, oh, my gosh, really? No, what we're talking about is an absolute disruption of somebody that came in like Don Lemon and the group that did in that church who wanted the service to end pretty much, and they pretty much were able to do that. So making it a Class C felony might make someone think twice about ever doing that again.
Exactly. Well, this is a state law. There is a federal law already, which is they're trying to impose on some of these people in Minnesota who were picked up. Try to picture if you can, picture the difference between one person running around on 280 trying to block traffic and a whole bunch of people running around on 280 blocking traffic. That's what we're talking about here. The one guy you can grab and you can go, hey, you're crazy, you're about to get hit by a car, let's not do that. One guy you can have the sergeant at arms or security at the church pull out of there. Whereas if you have a whole group of people come marching in and they're chanting and carrying on the way these yahoos were, then you actually have a nice Class C felony on your hands. And really, this is designed to stop that before it ever gets started.
Yep.
So let's hope it does.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Cuban Coast Guard killed 4 people in an exchange of gunfire with a stolen speedboat full of Cubans who were living in America. Well, weren't they Americans then? I mean, that's the real question.
Yeah. Well, did they go through the process? Are they legitimate citizens of the U.S.?
We do not know.
Not sure of that.
But what happened is you had 10 people aboard a U.S. registered speedboat. They were headed toward Cuba and were in Cuban waters when a Cuban patrol vessel approached them. It's a Florida registered boat. They believe it was stolen. They wanted to identify the people on board. Shots were fired from the boat, wounding the captain of the Cuban craft. They returned to fire, killed 4 of these guys on this boat, and injured the other 6. Now, what exactly were they doing? Well, Cuba says they were going to try to engage in terrorist activity and take over and overthrow the government.
I don't know that anyone yet knows the intention.
Yeah.
Right? I think that that's their assumption in Cuba, that these guys were going to do something terroristic.
Yeah. It's difficult to imagine 10 guys overthrowing the Cuban government.
Yeah, it would be very, very hard.
Even though they are all Cuban nationals.
And again, they're calling it a speedboat, but if you look at this is a 24-foot Proline boat, and I think it had a single engine on it. So they're lucky that they made it to Cuba in that boat, quite frankly. I mean, It's not that big a boat. It's not a speedboat like a Donzi or a Cigarette or something you would see like on Miami Vice, the opening of that show.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that kind of boat. It's really kind of a pleasure boat that you could fish from easily or swim off of. And it's like, what were these guys doing? I mean, that shouldn't have been the boat that you went for if you wanted to speed across over to Cuba from the Keys.
Yeah, if
Well,
you're
was all we could get.
I guess so. I mean,
Maybe.
you take what you can get.
Well, they
but-
left the keys in it. You know, that's That's
I don't
what
know,
was
but
going on
they
there.
were ready. I mean, assault rifles they
Mhm.
had, handguns, explosives. So really, what was the intent here? And maybe we'll find that out with the survivors.
Yeah, I'll be
Yeah.
interested to know, although I have a sneaking suspicion Cuba's not going to let them go anytime soon. There may be some sort of negotiations. Donald Trump is a great negotiator. He might be like, give us those guys back or else.
Well, and again, if they were here illegally, he might just say, "Well, you all can keep them."
That's right. That's
I mean,
fine.
all of them have this huge history of a criminal record and violent activity. All 10 of them. It was
Yeah.
like, okay, and they're living in South Florida somewhere. If I'm Donald Trump, you guys keep him in jail there.
Yeah.
They're bad hombres.
Might be.
That's what it sounds like.
Might be. I'm interested to know exactly what exactly was the goal there, because we know something that has been happening over the years that is really not talked about very often is that some Cuban nationals who are living in Florida will scoot a boat down there, will pick up people at a prearranged location and bring them back. Now, as you said, they would usually do that in a much faster boat.
Oh yeah.
Usually do that in a boat that can outrun whatever Cuba's, whatever you call them, a Coast Guard, is boating in out there. And so that is something that has taken place. And could that be what they were doing here? When you want to do something like that, it's almost inevitable that the people that you contact to help you out are not going to be the best people in the world. They're going to be people that have criminal records because they've done this before. So I don't know. That may very well have been the case here, or they may have been up to other nefarious things. We really do not know.
Not yet.
But
Hopefully we'll get some answers.
4 dead and 6 wounded now. And the House GOP has moved to censure the Democrat who once again disrupted Donald Trump's address. Representative Al Green felt the need to hold up a sign that said, black people are not apes. This was in response to
Wow.
that stupid little snippet that was left at the end of a Donald Trump video that some intern posted on Truth Social and didn't clip it properly. And so the whole lion
Barack
sleeps
Obama
tonight.
and
Yeah.
His wife.
So Barack Obama and Michelle
Michelle.
Obama with their heads on ape bodies was never supposed to make it to the airwaves, and it was a horrible mistake, and it shouldn't have happened. But there it was. And so he decided that he was going to make a big deal out of it because basically Al Green doesn't know what else to do except make a big deal out of nothing.
And again, so that his light shines in a negative way.
Yeah. I mean,
Not
last
very
year,
smart on his part.
last year it was all you're going to do away with Medicare. It's like, who is
No,
saying
he didn't.
that?
He didn't do that.
Where are you getting this? So now he decides to hold a sign up. He got escorted to the door almost immediately. And, I'd kind of like to see the other people who were yelling get censured as well. I'd go ahead and get Jayapal, get Tlaib, all these people that felt the need to try to talk back to the president. It's not
right
a
in the middle
two-way
of
conversation.
No, it's not. It was right in the middle of his speech, and they were yelling loud enough that you could
Yeah.
easily hear them
Yeah.
over the president.
Well, and
And it was like, what could be ruder than that?
to his credit, he just kept going.
Yeah.
But, John Fetterman said it. Rahm Emanuel has also said it now. He said, you know what? Sit down, shut up, listen to what the president has to say, and then go out to the press and take issue with the things that you thought were incorrect. That's how you handle it. Yelling in the middle of the speech is not how it's done.
No.
We have the State of the Union is going downhill year upon year. I hate to say it. Mr. Bugs knows what bugs you. MRBUGGS, MrBugs.com, 9416252, handling your pest control, your small rodent control, your termite binding, and your mosquito reduction. That mosquito reduction is about to start, going to kick in here probably in the next month and not a moment too soon because it's getting warm out there. If you really want to enjoy your pool, your deck, your outdoor entertaining area this year, and you've been doing things like buying fogger at the store and hoping that's going to get the job done, nah. This mosquito reduction, I swear by it. I've had it for 3 years. I've never been bitten by a mosquito in my own backyard since it started. I kid you not. Mr. Bugs, 9416252. 634 Talk 99.5, Talk 99.5.com with Dixon and Vining. You know, I don't know if you were listening to a little of the Skippy and Jimbo show yesterday, but Andrew came on and was talking about his sinus condition, his bad head cold, which he's been struggling with for days. And I told him I think it's probably what I have, which is a sinus infection. Started as a head cold, turned into a sinus infection. No fun at all.
Nope.
By the way, the cure is worse than the disease because I'm on these steroids right now and I'm hating it. I tossed and turned all night. And
it's not like a cold, and it's tough to get rid of. It takes a while.
Yeah, not just the steroids. Obviously, I'm on antibiotics as well, and they're pretty powerful antibiotics. They're really messing with my body, which I hate. But there it is. Somebody called in and recommended what? The Navage. Navage, which I have and I absolutely adore. But somebody else called in and said, listen, you got to use distilled water in this thing. You have to use distilled water because otherwise, you know, you might get an amoeba up there and it eats your brain. And I thought, an amoeba in Andrew's head would starve. That was uncalled for. That was
not nice to Skippy.
But yeah, I mean, you basically you either have to buy big bottles of this distilled water, or you have to boil water and then let it cool off, and then keep that protected and use that. Unless, of course, you have Aqua Systems. Aqua Systems is already purified. It's already clear. It's already ready to go. And so I just able to turn on my tap and crank it up hot, and then run that thing through my Navage. I do it twice a day. I do it in the morning. I do it in the evening. And it is a game changer, I'm telling you. And the ability to just use the tap water is so much, it makes it so much more convenient. I was thinking this morning, what if I had to go into the kitchen, I had to get some distilled water, and I had to put it in the microwave, and I had to warm it up, and I was like, I would hate that. I love my Aqua Systems water. That's just one of the many perks of having it, okay? I've told you all the others. I just want to recommend that you call them 383-3999 and make an appointment to have them come by and show you what they got. Once they do, you're going to want it. Trust me, you're going to want it. Whole home system starting at $0 down, $60 a month. Really great, folks. Aqua Systems, 383-3999. Online at iwantgreatwater.com. How about the mortgage interest rate falling to below 6% for the first time since 2022?
Isn't that nice? We knew it would eventually happen.
Yeah.
We felt pretty confident about it, especially with Donald Trump at the helm. And it's nice to see that. I hope that invigorates the, housing market. We really need that.
Yeah, it really does need to. This is about as base economically as you can get. And I'm always flummoxed by people who don't get economics. But maybe I'm the unusual one, that it just comes to me pretty easily. My dad was a CPA. He always understood, math and numbers and business and all of that stuff, and I may have inherited some of that. I have no idea. But this is about as base as it gets. When you have high interest rates, people like me who are at 2 3/4 ain't going to move.
And you are parked.
Right.
You have the parking brake on.
Not
the emergency brake. You're like, I'm not going anywhere.
But it's actually up on blocks.
And the wheels are off.
That's right.
I'm not going anywhere.
I am lucky in that my house is the way I want it already. I built a little extra deck onto the side, but other than that, everything is kind of the way I want it to be. I don't have to do any really major. But people who are in houses that they're like, well, this was going to be a starter home, and I really intended to, kind of move it. They would rather improve the home they're in than leave their sub 3% rate and go do a 6% rate. So what happens is there's no houses on the market. People aren't selling their houses. If you're not going to move, you're not going to sell your house, which means that there are no houses to choose from. We have been in a housing dearth. According to a friend of mine who's in the mortgage business, he said, I've never seen it as bad as this. This is the lowest I've ever seen. There's usually about 1 million houses nationwide on the market at any given time. We've been below 400,000 for months and months and months and months. Less than half the number of houses that are usually on the market. And the ones that are out there, well, you were looking and you saw what happened. I mean, people were jacking the prices sky high because they're like, I know when I go.
It was. And see, my situation was a little different because I'd been in a home for 12 years. And before all of this, with the market and then the mortgage rates took off up, I was in a place where I was ready to move, but I couldn't find the right house.
Right.
So searching for quite some time, up to almost 2 years, and then finally found the house that I wanted. But the mortgage rates hadn't dropped. It was still in the 6 range.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, how long am I going to let this house go, or am I going to make this jump? Because I think my mortgage at the time was 2 3/4, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
So, I thought, I've got to make a decision here. I'm either going to sit into this house that I'm not happy in,
Mm-hmm.
or I'm gonna bite the bullet. And I ended up biting the bullet, thinking, okay, well, maybe interest rates will come down, and
Sure.
at that point I can refi, which is something that is an option there. But I thought, if I don't jump on this house, it's gonna. I know in a day,
Yeah.
this thing is going to be sold.
Gonna
It's
be
going to be gone. So I had a real quick decision to make, and again, my situation was different. There are a lot of people that are like, I don't have to move. I love my house, and I'm happy with my mortgage rate. And so they are camped in. They weren't going anywhere during that period of time.
Also, during the time that interest rates were down there around 2 3/4, you're exactly right. It's marry the house, date the rate, right?
Right.
Because you can always change that rate somewhere down the line when it gets back
Hopefully.
down to a reasonable.
Hopefully.
Yeah, when
Yeah,
it gets down to a
that's the
reasonable
hope.
level. But there are, almost the entire mortgage business was based upon, hey, you should refinance. You should what are you at, 4.5? You should refinance. Get down here to 2 3/4 with the rest of us. If it's more than a point over, you're going to save money by refinancing. So you should definitely jump on board and do the refinance thing. So everybody who could went and refinanced their homes, and everybody had 2 3/4.
Mhm.
Anybody who had the credit that was able to do that had a 2 3/4 rate, maybe 2.5. I think a few people managed to get. Even if you were in the 3s, right now 6 doesn't look, or even just below 6, doesn't look that good. It looks like twice your rate. And
But in the scheme of the
Yeah.
last 50 years,
Yes.
look at where it's been. So if you really think about that, you're like, well, 6 isn't terrible.
It's not.
When you get under 6,
Yeah.
you're back in the window of, this is really good. This is a good rate.
Mhm.
The 2 3/4 or the 2.5 that some people got, y'all, it really never gets that. That's about as low as you're going to ever get on a home.
And it stayed that way for a good long while, which was nice,
Mhm.
but it was the anomaly. That was
Sure
the
was.
outlier.
Right.
Mentioned before, my first house, 7 1/4.
Mhm.
And people were asking me, who did you have to kill to get that rate? And I was like, wow, I didn't know, because I had never bought a house before. I didn't know
Yeah.
7 1/4 was a great rate. The next house I bought was in the year 2000, 9 5/8.
Yeah.
I mean, I was paying closer to 10% on the second. I got to refi it later and get it down. It was somewhere in the mid 4s after the interest rate came back down again. But yeah, hopefully what we're going to see is people beginning to edge out of their houses very carefully. They're going to stick their head out and they're going to look around surreptitiously, and they're going to go, Are there more houses out here? I could actually go. I could see moving. That could happen.
Yeah, that rate is not bad. Now that we're under 6, hopefully this will lighten things up a little bit, shake it up.
You know what's really going to make the difference is when we get rid of Jerome Powell.
Yes.
We get the new guy
Yeah.
in there who's already on record as saying, yeah, these interest rates should be lower. You lower the prime,
Yeah.
get
It's
it down
coming.
in the quarter.
And maybe that's what they're waiting on.
be.
Exactly. That, hey, 5.9 is not bad, but it's going to probably come down lower later this year
Hmm.
and 2027 for sure.
I would think 2027 is going to be
Yeah, that might
hopefully
be
a
the.
steaming hot year, assuming that we're not, in a full-fledged war with Iran, which tends to suck all the
yep,
oxygen out of the
that
room
changes things as well.
when that
And
happens.
that might be another dynamic where people are like, yeah, I see the rate at 5.9, but you see those ships that are just off Iran and what we're about to do? And maybe that will happen if it does happen, it's
There's-
going to be quick.
It's a little uncertainty there that I'm not too crazy about, which it seems to be if this economy is being held back by anything, it's two things. Number one, it is the uncertainty of what's going to happen next. It's weird to me that people are able to look at themselves and go, well, I'm doing okay, but I'm not sure everyone else is. And you go, why don't you just base this on your own experience? You're doing fine. Your neighbor's doing fine. People down the block are doing fine. People in the next town over are doing fine. This is like being offended on someone else's behalf. Stop worrying about what everyone else. If you're doing fine, then the economy's doing fine, and you can have confidence, and you should go boldly forth and do whatever it is you're going to do. The other thing is the damn Democrats who keep shutting down the government.
That doesn't help.
I mean,
And they don't care.
No, government throws
They could give a rip.
lot of money around,
Mm-hmm.
and when that money gets sucked out of the system, it tends to hurt. We saw that in the fourth quarter. Fourth quarter growth was nowhere near what it was supposed to be because we were closed for 35 days, longest government shutdown on record, because the Democrats decided they were going to have a little hissy fit over Obamacare, and that hurts the economy. So if we can get them to stop doing that, that would be step one. And we can get people to be a little bit more excited. I think, Trump and J.D. Vance going out and giving all these economic speeches about how well things are going can only help the situation. And then maybe we'll see the kind of roaring economy that we're supposed to have, rather than wondering why all these numbers are great. Why is the economy not roaring full speed ahead? It's weird.
I know. It is a little strange, but I think it's coming. I really do. I think this year we're beginning to see that momentum. J.D. Vance just spoke about it the other day, and we knew it. At 2026, we're beginning to see that advancement of what's happening in the market, and it's starting to take off. So I think as we progress through this year, things will improve, and I think even 2027 will maybe even be a bigger boom when it comes to the economy and the mortgage rate. So we'll see, but it's looking that way.
When you say you can see it coming, is this the same optimism you have when you say it's not going to rain that hard?
It's not going to rain today.
There's not going to be
There's
no
no tornadoes.
There's no snow.
No snow, no ice.
This is what Valerie is famous for.
I am. That's just a wish. The weather is a wish.
It looks out the
Because I
window.
know what it means for all of us.
I don't see it.
Me
means
sleeping on the floor of my office.
air
I'm like,
mattresses.
no.
We don't have to do that if the economy stinks. That's good. This is Jeffrey Epstein's favorite song, is it not? I think it's.
He doesn't have a favorite song anymore, Richard. He's dead.
Actually, I think it was "Go Away, Little Girl." But anyway.
Ooh.
And they called it puppy love. Okay. 650 Dixon and Vining, Talk 99.5, talk995.com. It's too early for that, Richard.
It is a little early for that.
Far too early.
Leave
I say,
that,
what are you talking about? It's late February.
Leave that
Come
to
on.
Skippy, would you?
It's almost the end of February. It's not too early. Come on, man. Speaking of selling property, I would like to talk to you for just a moment about the difference between doing it the old-fashioned way. That would be getting a listing agent, putting it on the market, taking a stab at the price you think it should be, hoping that it sells within a reasonable amount of time. Maybe you could get a bidding war. Maybe if you're lucky. Everybody wants a bidding war, right? That's what they're looking for. If it doesn't sell, then you have to lower the price, and it's a long, tedious process. Plus, there's things like punch lists. And I tell you, when I sold my house in Prattville, 3 different offers that all fell through in the 11th hour. 3. That'll make you crazy. Now, if you do it with Granger Thaggart Auction Marketing, you're getting qualified buyers, cash in hand, no contingencies, no punch lists, date certain sale, date certain close, and the buyer pays all the closing costs and the cost of sale. So what the final bid is, that's what goes into your pocket. It's a truly wonderful experience. You can find out more at gtauctions.com, gtauctions.com. Find out why it is a better way to sell your commercial building, your homestead, your piece of undeveloped real estate, whatever it is you're trying to sell. Granger Thaggart Auction Marketing has a plan for you, and all you need to do is visit gtauctions.com to find out more about it. GT Auctions, so many people have done it this way, and so many people have been satisfied. Check it out. Rock says, all lanes completely shut down, I-2059 eastbound at Arkadelphia, complete stop. Traffic is backing up to Tuscaloosa.
What? My goodness gracious.
Let's start with Bessemer first, and then we'll
Yeah,
go
I was
to
like, wow.
But
What about Vance?
That's after Bessemer.
Cottonville.
Right.
Jeff says, I was appalled by how Democrats were allowed on the House floor with vulgar F ice pins. I wonder if they would let me into the gallery with it, but if Democrats pin on, no. I think any congressman wearing that kind of stuff should be censured, is what you mean to say. This is inappropriate behavior. I agree, Jeff. I agree. I think we've got to stop allowing the State of the Union to be a circus. And I believe that, by the way, when Joe, what was his name? Joe Williams, I think, said, Wilson. It was Joe Wilson, who, when Barack Obama was talking about if you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor, and he just yelled out, you lie. People think he said, you're a liar, but that's not what he said. He said, you lie. That's all he said. But it was wrong. Don't do that. Mm-hmm. The president gets to say his piece. Then, for some reason, we always have to have the other party, the opposing party, say their thing. And then you go into the spin room and you tell the press, here's where I think he was off the mark. Or, hey, the president was lying when he said, if you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor. That's the time to do it, not on the floor during the State of the Union address. Have some decorum. And certainly, F ice pins have no place on that floor. Those people should have been stopped and either had them confiscated or been told, you're not allowed in there.
Yeah.
You can't wear this.
Mm-hmm. Let me give you interrupt for just a half a second, Richard. The problem on I-2059 at Arkadelphia Road, mm-hmm. the reason the traffic is so backed up so far, the entire road is completely blocked. But here's the good news. There are multiple tow trucks, and there are vehicles on those tow trucks. And if you just give it a little longer, it looks like that might clear up here fairly soon if they can get those vehicles out of there. But you are not getting through 2059 Arkadelphia Road near exit 123.
2-vehicle wreck. One is overturned.
Yeah.
That is first.
And again, the video is showing you've got multiple police vehicles there, and multiple tow trucks trying to load those vehicles up and getting them out of there. So a mess, a huge mess there.
It is a mess.
Mm-hmm.
Now let me go all Jesus on you.
Okay, go.
Holly, who wanted to know the name of my band last week,
uh-huh.
Domino Killers. Thank you, Holly. Appreciate you showing interest in this. Sends over this question. She's from Huntsville, by the way. Says, an acquaintance of mine has referred to Jesus as a socialist. I would really like your input on this. It's bothering me, and I'm just not sure how to react to this statement. Your input is appreciated. I see this all the time on social media.
What?
People will be like, I don't understand how you can say you're a lover of Jesus when you don't support democratic policies, taxation policies, feeding the school kids, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I'll just tell you what I wrote to Holly. I said Jesus didn't speak on government at all, except to say, render unto Caesar that which is Caesar's, and render unto me, God, that which is mine. He certainly didn't say anything about government taking over the means of production, which is what socialism is, okay? And he never said that the government should take from those who have and give to those who do not have. He argued and urged those who have to give themselves. That's the Jesus way. Jesus was not involved. Think about this for a second,
Wow,
by the way.
I can't even believe we brought Jesus into politics.
Oh, it is really quite amazing, because Jesus is probably the most important figure in the history of the world, certainly in the history of the United States as well, and no politics at all. Nothing political about it, The only other person I can think of that fits that bill is Bono from U2. So, kidding. That was a joke. Calm down, please.
No.
Don't text me on that.
Here's what I would say to Holly. Holly, don't get sucked into that.
Yeah.
You know the truth there. She knows.
Well, you should, but people don't.
Yeah, but that's just.
I mean, I've got friends who I think are relatively intelligent who will still go online and post garbage like that, and I will have to say to them, that's not what Jesus said. Like, go back and read the Bible. There is absolutely no part in there where Jesus said, hey, Caesar, you should take money from these guys and give it to those guys. He was the one who was going to the guys who have and go, you should be giving. You should be giving of yourself. You should be handing this money over. And in fact, you should give until it hurts. That's not socialism. Funny you mentioned telephone poles, but everyone has cell phones now. I guess we can call them power poles. Yes, true, Casey. Hadn't thought about that. Telephone poles. Reason Congress is such a circus is because people keep electing clowns. Very nice. Grumpy old goat.
That's very funny.
The good news is they're all able to ride to work in the same car.
Isn't that nice? Hey, and it's just as quick as I said it. Now traffic is moving through Arkadelphia Road.
Hot diggity dog.
The far two left lanes are open, so they've got everything moved over to the right. You will get through there, but traffic is backed way up, almost to Bessemer. Yeah, sorry about that. From the junction, downtown Birmingham, almost all the way back to Bessemer, and that is coming into downtown Birmingham.
Here is a note on the story that has vanished from your airwaves over the course of the past couple of days. Nancy Guthrie's neighbor says she saw a suspicious man walking nearby 2 weeks before her suspected abduction.
We're a little late on that, aren't we?
Yeah.
I mean,
neighbor
why
said
now?
the young man didn't fit in Nancy Guthrie's neighborhood. I don't, people remember stuff later as time goes by. I mean, I understand that. But they now have returned Nancy Guthrie's home to her family, which feels a little bit like giving up.
It really does.
I mean, I hate to say it, but
it's so sad to me. It really is. I mean, if nothing, just find this woman. Find this woman.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll resolve the case later, but for the love of this family, give them some peace. And I don't know what form that is, but find this woman.
It is a sad state of affairs. I hate to see it. And, with all the sound and fury that we had within the first week or so, then the Olympics came along and kind of stole some of that thunder. And then the State of the Union came in and stole some more of that thunder. And the longer these cases go, the less likely they are to be solved. If you are not on this thing, there's a reason why they have a show called The First 48. They really believe that is the kind of hot button time. If you're going to resolve one of these things, you got to do it within the first 48 hours because the chances drop precipitously after that. So praying for Nancy Guthrie still, as we all should be. And $1 million reward for information that leads
find the
to her.
backpack, find the shirt, the jacket he was wearing, find the mask. I mean, surely. I mean, I know it takes time. I think of the Koberger case. It took time.
Yep.
But this family is, I'm sure, growing weary, wondering and worrying about Nancy Guthrie.
I know I am. It is 7 o'clock, Dixon and Vining, Talk 99.5, talk995.com. Coming up in the next hour, we're going to rate butter.
I love it. Let's do it.